Blackstone Publishing presents A Vicarage Reunion, a Holley Sisters of Thornthwaite novel by Kate Hewitt. This book is read by Hannah Curtis. Chapter 1. Esther! Her mother's tone of pleased surprise morphed into confusion, and then, predictably, worry, as her kindly face creased with concern. "Why have you got a suitcase?" "2 suitcases," Esther Langley answered, and hefted both as she stood on the stone steps, the March wind cold and damp as it buffeted her. "May I come in?" "Of course, darling. You don't have to knock. You usually don't." Her mother's forehead was furrowed as she stepped aside, so Esther could walk into the Victorian tiled porch of her childhood home, the Vicarage of Thornthwaite, a village of 2,000 hardy souls nestled at the foot of Lonscale Fell in England's Lake District. Esther put the suitcases down in the porch, and her mother glanced at them askance. "Shall I put on the kettle?" Esther nodded in relief, grateful for the momentary reprieve from her mother's well-meaning concern. "Please." She followed her mother down the hall and around the back of the Georgian house to the kitchen, the cosy heart of the home. The family's elderly black lab, Charlie, was sprawled in his usual place in front of the rather battered Aga, and there was a smell of sugar and spice in the air. "I've just made some Bakewell tarts for the pop-in morning in the church hall," Ruth said, as she filled the electric kettle and switched it on. "But they can spare 2, I think." "Thanks, Mum." Esther let out a hefty sigh and sank into one of the colourful mismatched chairs at the table of scarred oak where she'd eaten countless childhood meals. It felt both good and awful to be back in her childhood home at age 35, enveloped in the sweet-smelling warmth of the kitchen, yet with a leaden weight of sadness and disappointment in her stomach. Ruth didn't ask any prying questions as she made the tea, and Esther rested her chin in her hands, feeling absolutely shattered, but knowing she couldn't show up at the vicarage with 2 suitcases and no explanations. Her mother deserved to know why she was here. In any case, her life's trials would inevitably play out on the small stage of the village. That was the price of being one of the vicar's daughters for the last 30 years. Everyone knew everything about her, sometimes even before she did. She'd learned their family.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?